Hey everybody, Joy here. It's Saturday. It's finally Saturday. The last 2 days Jerry thought it was Saturday. Now it's the real Saturday. And yes, we're still running around doing things with mattresses and switching bedding and furniture and oh my goodness. Such a job when you're our age. Jerry was so exhausted. He came in last night, actually poured a glass of his wine that he never drinks, sat on the couch. 1 second he was sound asleep on the couch. He was so tired. Sitting up. I told you the man could sleep on a bed of nails. Did you know that a bed of nails is actually pretty easy to sleep on? You'll never see those Spengalis or whatever they're called, gurus, or you'll never see them laying on a bed of one nail. Think about it. So, isn't it just nuts, the things that come in my mind? My husband just shakes his head. Some of the dreams I have. It's just... oh my heavens. Anyway, let me put the coffee down. I've had too much today anyway. So, let's talk SureFit Designs pants and boobs on quilts. Huh? How's that sound for a subject? Yes. Last night, I was sitting in my bed with my computer, as I always am, because Jerry's always watching basketball. He doesn't watch college basketball. He watches, is it professional basketball? Anyway, he likes to watch the Oklahoma City Thunder play. I couldn't care less, or I just kind of look at it now and then and say something brilliant to him, like, what's the score? And then I go back to watching my laptop. So, I don't know. Those of you that are into SureFit Designs, do you know about Glenda's tutorials? And Glenda didn't ask me to say this. Glenda doesn't know anything about what I'm fixing to tell you. Well, she knows about her website, of course. But she has this website called SoFit Academy Online. You have to put online, SoFit Academy Online, and she has all these tutorials. So I wanted to watch the one on leggings because I wear a lot of leggings. Today I'm just wearing an old t-shirt, by the way. Jerry said, don't put on any nice clothes. I need you to help me. So it is what it is. Old jeans, old top. And I didn't make either one. So anyway, I wanted to watch the leggings because I want to take my pants, my SureFit Designs pants, and turn them into a leggings pattern because I love leggings. But I don't like them super, super tight. I like them just a tad loose, maybe a ½ inch of ease. Just, you know, I just think they're too tight for a granny. But, you know, you wear such a long shirt, it just looks like stockings anyway. So, I went to her SoFit Academy Online, and she has this class on the leggings, on the SureFit Designs leggings. And she shows different ways to do them, and she shows how to draw your pattern, how to cut them out for new seamstresses, and how to sew them. So, I think the regular price of it's maybe $10. That's nothing. It's just nothing. When you think about what you would pay to get on an airplane and fly somewhere to take some sewing classes. It's really nothing. And it's very well done. It's done in great detail. You don't need to see me do it. I'll show you my leggings when I'm done, but there's just no reason to watch me. Because, and I'll do the blouse. I told you I'd do the blouse, I'll do the blouse. But my personal opinion, as always, that's all you ever get. And I would advise you, if you want to learn how to do different styles of pants, now that you've made your first pant, take it, buy it, and watch her. And then she gives you this PDF with all the directions in it too. So it's a really good deal. It really is. I know you pay a lot for the system. I know. But you only have to pay it once. Look, I have made hundreds. Maybe not hundreds, but I've made over 100. I wouldn't be surprised if I've made over 200. I've made over 100 garments with her system. Yes, I paid whatever I paid for it, which was, you know, probably around $200 buying the whole thing, and the paper and everything. But how much have I paid for other patterns that I ended up throwing in the trash. I won't mention the lady I'm talking about because one of you gets very upset when I do. But if you want to learn and you want to learn how to do it well, I highly recommend it. So that's that. Yes, I'll pick it up, don't worry. The next thing is boobs on quilts. Do you know about boobs on quilts? I know a lot of you have made tons and tons of quilts, like my friend Helga. And Becky, of course, makes one every day. But do you know, we people, us'ns, we'ns, that have a long arm machine, and we quilt the quilt tops. Now, I learned for myself because I'm just particular and picky, and I'm like, oh my God, this looks like this, and what do I do? So I found out, what do you do? Terry quilts for a business. She quilts other people's quilts for them. She gets quilt tops in there, oh my heavens. They've got D cups, E cups, Z cups, oh my gosh. And I will say to her, well, why don't you call that person up and come take those borders off and put them back on right? Oh, I could never do that, I could never do that. Oh, Joy, I could never do that. Well, I darn sure couldn't do it. I would tell them, if you want me to quilt your quilt top, this is how you need to put your borders on. Because I cannot make you a pretty quilt with boobs all over it. Okay, so what the heck am I talking about now? It's a good thing you guys love me no matter what goofy thing I say. Okay, so one of you asked me on my houses, is it going to have applique? Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's this wonderful, wonderful stuff. You have to pay for it. What have I got, $400 in this quilt? You have to pay for these things. But they're wonderful because you just take the little paper off the back and you just iron them on. So, I'm getting ready to put the last two borders on, and I thought, oh, I'll tell people about the boobs in the quilt. And then I'm going to start placing these if I can get away from my husband long enough to do it. He keeps finding me up here and dragging me downstairs. Okay, so let me zoom you up a little bit here. Now, you can see underneath I've got the Christmas quilt on. I'm down at the bottom of it. We're coming down the home stretch. So, this is the houses. This is the houses. I've got the top border on, and I've got the bottom border on. And I keep dropping it, the bottom border. So I have the sides to do. Now let me tell you, you want a tip? Get your pencil and a piece of paper. This is a tip. I have never, ever, not even one time, had my quilt come out to the measurements that the pattern says it's going to come out. I have never yet had it happen. So, the pattern says, cut your sashings, cut your borders by a certain amount. Mine says 3.5 inches by 66, okay? The other one said, cut them 3 inches by 47.5. Well, I didn't have a 47.5 anywhere on my quilt. I cut mine 48. So these pieces you see on here, these sashings, mine are 48 inches long, not 47.5. All right, she says to cut these borders on the side 66. So, since I don't want to have big air pockets, let's call it air pockets, air pockets and bubbles, since I want to have my border be flat, when I put it up here and I'm quilting it, I want my border to be flat, I'm not going to go by what that pattern says. I am going to measure the actual quilt top. What an idea. Okay. So, since I have this long arm, I can spread it out on the long arm. That's very helpful. If you don't have the long arm, you'll have to put it on a great big table, or you'll have to put it on a bed or on the floor, okay? All right, so we need a measuring tape. I am going to measure this quilt in about 5 places. Tip number 2, or am I up to 3 now? Tip number 3, your quilt is never going to measure the same from top to bottom. If you get the same measurement twice, I'd be amazed. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure it at both ends, we're going to measure it in the center, and we're going to take a measurement somewhere in between what we come up with, okay? All right, so here at this end, this is one end. She says 66. I have 65 7/8. Okay? All right, let's move it up to the middle somewhere. Let's move it up to the middle somewhere. There we are. We're in the middle, okay? What do we have now? And these houses are kind of hard to get straight because they're really not straight. So find something that's straight and line it up. Spread it out. Don't stretch it. You know, this fabric will probably stretch an inch or more. All right. We had 65 7/8. What do we have here? Here we have 65 3/4. That's about a third of the way down. I'm going to move it again inside the quilt. That was 65 3/4. Let's measure it here and see what we've got. This long arm is good for so many things, you guys. I've got 65 1/2 now. Now what if I put on a 66-inch border and this thing's 65 1/2 in the middle and be 66 on both ends? It's going to look like an hourglass. It's not going to look good at all. You want your quilt to be square. Not an easy thing to do, believe me. Even when you're quilting, it's not easy. Start at the 1, not the 118. All right, here we've got 65 3/4 again. So I've had two 65 3/4 and I've had a 65 7/8. Let's do the very edge. Let's do the very edge. This is really pretty square for me, let me tell you. Okay, get this. This end is 66 1/8. 66 1/8. Now I could take a deeper seam somewhere, try to fix it, make it come out even, but I'm not going to do that. So, what I'm going to do is I came up at 65 3/4 twice near the center here. I'm pretty sure. Yes, this takes time. Yes, you could get the quilt done a whole lot faster. Yeah, this is 65 5/8. See? See? See all the different measurements? See how problematic that can be? I got 4 or 5 different measurements up and down this quilt. I've measured it like 10 times. I have decided to make the ends match the center. So I am cutting, yes, pre-cut, pre-cut, pre-cut. You have to pre-cut. Was that tip number 4? You cannot just take a great big long strip of 3 1/2 inches and just put it up there and sew it on. You cannot do it. Your quilt will not be square and you will have ripples and ridges and puffy stuff and boobs. Okay? So I am going to pre-cut. In fact, I already have my last 2 borders to 65 3/4. I have it written on my board up there. That way, the middle and both ends are going to be the same. And when you quilt it, it will come out really good. Okay, does that make sense? This is an insert. I forgot to do this part. Okay, you've figured out your measurement. You've cut out your borders. You've got your quilt. This is the next very, 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 very important part. This is like, are we up to tip number 5? Take your border, fold it in half. Press or mark that center mark right there. Then fold it in half again. Now if you have a really long quilt, you may want to fold it even more. Fold it in half again and then mark these 2 points right here. Alright, I have pressed this in half and I've pressed it in half again. So now I have 3 creases. I'm going to mark my creases because there tend to be other creases and they're hard to see sometimes. So I'm going to mark center, and I'm going to mark this quarter mark down here, and I'm going to mark this quarter mark down here. Now one's an innie and one's an outie, it doesn't matter. Okay? So there's a quarter mark. There's the halfway mark. And there's the other quarter mark on the other end. And that's not exactly in the crack, so I'm going to move it a little bit. Yeah, I'm so picky. All right, now that's not all. That's not all. You're not done yet. Now, you have to take the quilt. The quilt. And you fold the quilt, the side you're going to put the border on, where you're going to apply the border. All right? So you're going to fold that in half, that in half, then you're going to fold that in half, and then I'm going to walk behind you and press it. All right? Fold it in half and in half. Now I'm going to open it up on the right side, or on the back side, no, on the right side. Doesn't matter, mark it both sides, you can see the folds. It's easy to flip and see your mark. All right, here's the center, right there. Where's the quarter mark? Sometimes the quarter mark lands on a seam and it's kind of hard to see. Right there it is. Quarter mark. And other quarter mark, where are you? Right here. One's an innie, one's an outie. Okay? So, there's a quarter mark. There's the half mark. And there's the other quarter mark. So now, I will take, now, these are not the same length. The quilt is not the same length. It may be 1/8 of an inch off, maybe 1/4 at the most, but that doesn't matter because we're going to make it fit inside this. It's going to fit on this. This should be smaller, if anything, not bigger. Okay, so we're going to put half there, and we're going to put 1/4 here, and we're going to put this on the very edge, and then we are going to fit whatever's left over. And the quilt top is bigger than my border here, but I will fit that into those spaces. Okay, and then I will end up with no cup sizes in my borders. And to insert. Okay, I think that's all I have to tell you. I'm going to put these 2 borders on, and then I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to put those applique pieces on. I can't wait, I'm so excited. All right, I'll let you go for now, and I'll be back soon. Bye.